Gon' vote. Everybody gon' vote. Everybody gon' vote. Everybody gon' vote. Comrade! Labor right, them a go down, bong. Them a go down, bong. Them a go down. Is that? Margie, him a God picking. No hope their work if you touch Margie. Margie, him a God picking. No hope their work if you touch Margie. We now vote for Labour. Orange we a come out in now. If you love the PNP, who no step out for Marky G. Jamaica just come along with we. People time come, people time come, people time is up.
Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight.
Yeah, I say that we are. Pledge your allegiance.
Who's gonna run this town tonight?
Yeah, I say that we
We gonna run this town. Zanwell.
We go, we go,
The Adventures in Manners Hill Valley. That's what the name of the book is. The Adventures in Manners Hill Valley. And it's written by somebody called Basilia Barnaby Cuff. And in fact, it's signed by her. The lady who wrote the book wrote this message in her, says, "Enjoy your adventure." And she signed it. That's very nice. All right. So, I will start the reading now. This is grade 2, right? Okay, grade 2. Cool. All right. So, once upon a time, in a beautiful forest, there were two little girls called Bree and Bella, who lived with their mom and dad. See them there? Bree and Bella. They live in a forest. Bree and Bella loved to play. They enjoyed playing with the butterflies, singing with the birds, and playing hide and seek behind the huge mahogany trees. However, there was a part of the forest in which they had never played before. Their mom and dad had told them that unless they were sure they knew how to use the phrases please, thank you, and excuse me, they should not go to that side of the land. So they have to be able to say please, thank you, and excuse me, and how to use it if they're going to go to that part of the forest which they'd never been to before. That part of the forest was called Manners Hill Valley. It had the most beautiful flowers ever seen, fluffy green grass, and little waterfalls where children could play and have a grand time. Only a few people had ever been to Manners Hill Valley, and oh, the joy that filled their faces when they spoke about their experiences there. I wonder what's going to happen. Bree and Bella were curious. Anybody knows what curious means? Who thinks they know? Tell me what it means. If you're curious, you want to know the answer to something. If you want to know something or the answer to something, you're curious about it. All right? So Bree and Bella were curious. They really wanted to experience a side of the forest that they had never been to before. And so each day they practiced with each other, their friends, neighbors, and parents. Excuse me. Thank you. Please. One day, Bree and Bella were playing in their backyard treehouse. Bree said to Bella, I think we are ready to go to Manners Hill Valley because we know how to use our phrases correctly. This is when they were practicing. Excuse me, thank you, please. So they think they're ready to go to the Manners Hill Valley. Let's see. And told them about the adventure they wanted to go on. And with huge smiles, their parents asked, are you sure you know how to use please, thank you, and excuse me the right way? And without hesitation, both girls said yes. But first, they had to pack their lunches, snacks, and juices to take along the journey. So here they are, getting ready to go on their journey to Manners Hill Valley. I hope they know how to use please, thank you, and excuse me the right way, because if they don't, who knows what will happen. As they were about to leave, their mom shouted, have fun. If you don't use your words correctly, you will not be let in, and you'll have to come back home. But if you do, a beautiful playground awaits you. The girls were excited and started their journey just before midday. As they skipped and laughed on their way to Manners Hill Valley, all they could think of was the adventure that awaited them, as long as they remembered how to use the phrases please, thank you, and excuse me the right way. So here they are, setting off on their journey with their lunch all packed up. After a few minutes, they were there, so they didn't have to go far. Manners Hill Valley had a huge sign made out of flowers which said, if you use please, thank you, and excuse me the right way, you will be allowed to enter and play all day. The girls were excited and walked up to the gate, but it was locked. Bree, who was the older of the two, shouted, anybody home? That's them at the gate to Manners Hill Valley. So she shouted, anybody home? Then out of nowhere, a voice said, ha ha ha, yes, we are here. Your adventure awaits. What's the sentence that will open Manners Hill's gates? Is it, excuse me, open the gate? Thank you, open the gate? Or please, open the gate? Which one do you think is the right one? I think you're ready to go to Manners Hill Valley yourselves. The girls shouted, please open the gate. And to the sound of the most beautiful music, the gates began to open. Bree and Bella screamed with excitement and ran in. So then let them in now, because I used please correctly. All right. Soon they met upon another gate, which read, you got the first question correct, but now this gate is closed. You said please, and it was done. What should you say now to go experience the fun? The girls looked at each other, and they were confused. But we said please. Then a loud voice said, yes, you did. And now that you've gotten what you asked for, what do you say? Excuse me, thank you, or please again? Oh, they said, we say, what do we say? Thank you. The protection that our farmers have enjoyed by removing GCT from the importation of raw produce. He says that Jamaica is on the cusp of being blacklisted by the World Trade Organization, the WTO, if we continue to protect our farmers. Well, based on our research, The WTO does not blacklist or unilaterally punish member states for non-compliance. The minister really therefore needs to state whose bidding he's doing. The removal of this protection leaves our farmers very exposed to unfair competition from importers who have little risk. We know that the rich countries of the world, North America and Europe, provide massive subsidies to their agricultural sectors, distorting fair competition and giving food imports from those countries an advantage over our producers here in Jamaica. Over the past 15 years, food imports into Jamaica have seen a steady increase, reaching over $1.4 billion in 2022, according to Statin. In contrast, our agricultural exports lagged far behind at a mere $273 million in that year. And this is a trend, and it underscores the vulnerability of local food production. Local farmers already contend with high overhead costs, including GCT and various inputs that they use, farm supplies, which producers in other countries do not face. Jamaican farmers have other disadvantages, including their small scale, relatively speaking, reliance on rainfall rather than irrigation systems for many farmers, and limited access to mechanization and financial resources. In 2022, loans allocated to farming operations amounted to a mere $146.3 million Jamaican dollars. That's all. The removal of GCT on imported foodstuff will worsen this imbalance between locally produced and imported foods. It is likely to adversely impact the sector and the livelihood of farmers, while undermining rural communities, who are the breadbasket of our country. Only last year, we saw how onion farmers in St. Thomas were hurt badly when import permits were granted to importers and flooded the market with foreign onions, leaving our farmers with produce that they could not sell last year. In removing the GCT on the imports of produce, nothing has been put in place to protect our farmers from the wave of imports of produce that will now come into the market without paying GCT. And there's a common theme here, Mr. Speaker. When I was in St. Elizabeth recently, the fishermen were complaining bitterly that they cannot sell their lobster because big players are supplying the market at low prices and squeezing them out. Their MP is the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, yet they are suffering. The government is letting them down badly, and it's a crying shame. Mr. Speaker, there's also the critical necessity for transparency in the allocation of these permits for imported foodstuff to ensure that there's proper consideration for local production capacity and to eliminate the possibility for nepotism, cronyism, and other forms of corruption. And we all hear who the major importers are. Jamaica Agricultural Society, the JAS, was apparently not consulted before this measure was announced by the minister, which in itself is an egregious example of arrogant and uncaring governance.